everybody, and welcome back at Adobe Live. I'm your host, Kladi, and I'm here with you for a brand new challenge in Adobe Illustrator. Now, the beauty of today is that we are not only going to be working in Adobe Illustrator, but also I will show you how can you enhance your workflow with Adobe Express. In fact, I will show you how you can use some vectors created in Illustrator and then extend it into a full design campaign thanks to the help of Adobe Express. But we're going to be working also with Adobe Express Beta. So much to do today. Make sure to click on the link below in the description in order to get access to the starter file. And while you do so, I want to welcome everybody here that is joining live. Thank you so much for coming here on Behance and on YouTube. And don't forget that if you wish to learn more and to sharpen your skills, you can at any time watch one of the wonderful streams that are always available on Adobe Live on the wonderful YouTube channel. So make sure to subscribe on the Adobe Live YouTube channel. Perfect. Hopefully by now everybody has already downloaded their file, their starter file. Of course, you do not have to work with my starter file. You can use any file as you wish, but if you want to follow along, that will be the place to start. So let me switch to my screen and let's get this project going. So here we are. Perfect. So as you can see, this is the starter file for today. Is a file that I created for a course. I have a LinkedIn course in Illustrator, and it's a getting start course in Illustrator. We'll talk about it at the end of the stream, but this is a graphic that was part of my course and that I decided to use as a promotional material for my course. And I have it here for you. In the course, I show how to build it by learning different skills in Illustrator, but here it is. The whole point is that this is a vector file, this is an Illustrator file. Here we have the artboard, but also we have some text sitting outside the artboard, and we're going to talk about that, why that is important to have this division here. And then I have also another file with more elements. But now that we have this file, the first thing I want to do is to use the Ctrl+Y or Command+Y shortcut, simply to show you that this is a vector. So here we have like a rectangle that is filled with a free-form gradient. You can at any time press the letter G and then edit the gradient. If you see here, those are all these color stops that you can move around. So feel free to customize these as much as you want. And we have different elements here. This one in particular is an element that has a special effect. In fact, if we head to the window menu and then appearance, you will see here that I have the pucker and bloat effect applied to it. So in reality, it's a square. We have not expanded it, but that's absolutely fine. It will still not be a problem for our Adobe Express. Here we have some 3D shapes. So as you can see here, I can go ahead and hide the 3D effect. So we have a lot of things going on. We have shapes interaction, we have 3D effect, we have a general effect like pucker and bloat applied to these specific shapes. But let me show you how Adobe Express Beta will translate that into a file, a layered file that we will be able to transform into a full campaign. In order to work with Adobe Express, if you join me today for the first time, I want to show you real quick how you can access the beta. All you have to do is to head on your Adobe Creative Cloud desktop. And here you will see that at the top, we do have different tabs. We want to search that, we want to click on the apps tab. You can see the home is basically like a little bit of a summary of all the apps that you can access that you have already installed, suggested shortcut. You also have the possibility to level up with Adobe Express. So it's for the first time, if you never used the Adobe Express Beta before, make sure to click on this after the stream in your spare time. That is a wonderful place to start. And also all your recent file. Here it is. This is the one that we just started with today. So the one tab that we want to use is the one called Apps. That is the place in which you can access all your apps, and those are the main releases. So you can find your Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, Lightroom, and so on. The one that we want to focus on today is the Adobe Express Beta. Now, if you use Adobe Express before, you know that that is an app that is available on your browser, so you can use it online on your computer, on your tablet, wherever you are. All you have to do just simply is to log in and you will be able to access it, but you also have an app on your phone. Now, in order to access the Express beta, Adobe Express beta, all you have to do here is to simply click on the Adobe Express beta link and you will be automatically directed into the Adobe Express beta website. Now, if you for whatever reason want to go to the main release, you can always do that by clicking to go to prior version. But in order to follow this particular workflow with me today, you will need to have access to the beta, because as we talked yesterday as well, the beta comes geared with so many amazing and exciting tools and new features that will allow you to do so much more with this fantastic app. So as you can see here, we already have all that generative AI like Adobe Firefly injection within Adobe Express. So here we have text to image, we can have image generation, text effect, but most importantly, we have the opportunity to start from our content. In this case, we can start from our Illustrator file, our vector file that we've seen before. But if you're wondering, you can also start from a Photoshop file. Absolutely, you can. All you have to do is to click here on Get Started and then simply select, as you can see here is a .ai, is an Illustrator, Adobe Illustrator file, and click on Open. And as you can see, what Adobe Express is doing at the moment is just having a look at the file. So it's almost like checking it out, understanding what shape is what, and here it is, it's already complete. I haven't done anything, my hands were up, and all I have to do now is to simply open in editor. And I want to stress here that this is a day 4 challenge, is unfortunately the last day of our challenges together, but this is our .ai, so Adobe Illustrator file that we're opening in an Adobe Express browser editor. And here it is. Now, the main difference that you will see here is that you do not see the text. So we're going to go ahead and perhaps zoom at 50%. We knew that we had some text here, but what is reading is just the artboard. And that's the reason why I've created this file, so you can see that what was reading here was just what is inside the artboard. And also the way that it perceives it is in terms of layers. So if we head here inside Illustrator and we access our layers menu panel, you will see here that all the group and the layers that you will find inside Illustrator will also be replicated inside Adobe Express. Here it is. If we go here to the right side, we can find, in fact, all these layers. We have the background, and then we have these 81 layers that we're going to go ahead and ungroup that make up all the vector illustration. Now, the beauty of this is that it retained our shape. So remember what we've seen before? That was a square with a pucker and bloat effect that has been translated into a shape inside Adobe Express. You can move it around. Of course, now we have ungrouped it, so I will strongly recommend to make sure that when you want to move objects together, you want to go ahead and make sure that you group them first. So in this case, I had to group. Let me go ahead and zoom in so we can all see a little bit better what is going on here. So before the fill and the stroke were ungrouped, because what Adobe Express does, it transfers every shape into a different layer. So if I'm going to go ahead and click Control Z to undo, you will see that this is now reading just one shape as the fill, and then we have the other shape as the stroke. So all I have to do is to hold the Shift key in order to select them both, and use the Control G shortcut or Command G if you're working on a Mac, or simply click on Group in order to group them together. Here it is. And now that you grouped them, oops, let's do it again. So Alt Shift and Group. And now that you grouped them, we can now move it wherever you want. Okay, so this was designed to be an Instagram post, just as it is, without text, part perhaps of maybe a carousel. And how do we transform this illustration into a full-blown campaign. And most importantly, how do we add elements like, for example, that writing that we had here, like the power of vision, which is, by the way, a live text. How do we add it and how do we implement it so we create a campaign here? So the first step will be to start by being organized. So I'm going to go ahead and add the title to this first page, and I'm going to call it EG Post. Okay, so we know already that that's a 1080 by 1080 ratio, 1:1, because that's the way that I originally intended to create the file. And then what I have to do is to simply click on this wonderful button called Resize. By hitting the Resize button, you will have the opportunity to choose a custom size or any of the recommended size. So you do not need to know by heart what are the different sizes available or needed for all your channel or for whatever you want to post online, because everything is there. So we have a square post, we have a story, we have a reel, we have a TikTok video, we have a Facebook post, YouTube video, flyer, and so much more. I'm going to start by heading into an Instagram story. So I'm going to go ahead and tick Instagram story. But actually, before doing that, I'm actually going to go ahead and duplicate, because otherwise what I'm literally doing is resizing. I just jumped a step because I was too excited to show you this amazing resize. The first thing actually will have to be is to duplicate this particular page, and then we can resize it, because I don't want to lose this. So in order to duplicate it, we can go here to this icon where we can see all pages, and then we can simply go ahead and click here onto duplicate page. So as you can see here, we have another page that's exactly the same. I'm gonna double click on it in order to access it, and I'm gonna call this page EG Story. But how do we change it? Well, as we've seen before, we have to click on Resize, and then here now we can tick Instagram Story. And don't forget to click the blue button at the very end. So it's just very low here. It's called Resize. I'm actually going to have to move on the other side because it's just behind me. Let me go ahead and see it. Here it is. I'm going to zoom in a little more, see if we can see it somehow, if we can make this browser, just zooming in on the actual design. But it's just down here at the bottom of the Resize panel that appears on the left. You can simply click on Resize once you have ticked your favorite size, and boom, it's absolutely done. But what about that text that we really wanted to add and we wanted to make part of our campaign? Well, all you have to do is to head back to your Illustrator file and grab anything that you want to add, in this case, this text. And I'm going to go ahead and press Ctrl+C in order to copy it. And once I head back inside my Adobe Express, all I have to do is press Ctrl+V. So you can actually copy and paste element. And to be fair, this was already an option that was available for you inside Adobe Express. So you could do that. You could copy and paste between Illustrator before, but now the beauty is that you can just simply open file, transform it into a document with multiple pages, and then if you have the need, you can go ahead and add more elements just like that. So this will be my first story. But what else if I want to add like a different version? Maybe I'm running an A/B test, so I want to know and I want to see like if this image performs better or maybe another one. Again, all I have to do is to head back into my pages. Now it tells that we have 2 pages, and I'm going to go ahead and duplicate. I still want an Instagram story, so I'm just going to keep this one. I'm just going to call it Instagram Story version 2. And in this case, what if I want to delete all this illustration from the file? Is that going to delete it from my Illustrator file? Absolutely not. All you have to do is to simply select the element that you want to delete, and I'm going to go ahead and simply delete it. And then you have a few options. You can head into your document. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead here and head to my original file, and you can simply, like I've done before, copy it. And then bring it inside Adobe Express and paste it in. And here it is, boom. I think that that's one of the fastest one. Again, here this will be the difference between pasting, copy and pasting, and opening files is that when you open a file, it literally splits. As you can see here, that's an image, right? Like it's not giving me the chance to delete here the text. If I want to delete the text, I have a few options, which will be perhaps to start to like crop using the crop tool and just cropping this top part. Boom, that could be a way, but it doesn't allow me to select each vector or each shape or each text one by one. So this is perhaps something that we could do in order to work around it. Or of course, I could have selected the image without the text. That also could have been something that I could have done in order to access it. We have another way to access media as well, which is if you head here into your stuff, are our brand and libraries. So first of all, as you can see here, is super exciting because we have folders. We have the folders of all the different projects, and it tells me, hey, this is an Illustrator file, this is a Photoshop file. How cool is that? Like, honestly, that's so cool. I'm just gonna go ahead and click on one of the Photoshop just to show you how beautiful that is. But the other thing that I wanted to talk about are libraries. Now I'm gonna head into my Illustrator and show you this other method by opening up the libraries here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and create a new library, and I'm gonna call it Illustrator 2023, just like so, and then click on create. And I'm gonna go ahead and select, I'm just gonna go select this other format here. So this other illustration that I've created, I'm gonna select it, make a copy, and then drag it inside my library. So it should be, yeah, it's absolutely there. It's called Artwork 1. That's the one that we have already there inside my library, called Illustrator 1, that I've just created. So now if we jump back inside our Illustrator file, our Adobe Express file, I get confused because literally is an Illustrator file inside Adobe Express. I also want to rename that. I'm going to call this one course campaign, course adverts. I'm just going to call it course adverts. Perfect. And as you can see, everything gets saved as you go. That's what the little cloud is there for. But also will give us the chance to have a look at our libraries. So now the libraries are in alphabetical order. So if you scroll down, we should be able to find our Illustrator 2023. If we don't, it's probably because I'm also live here now. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of a refresh. And you do not have to worry because everything is there, is getting saved as you go. Remember, we're working with a beta version. I forgot to mention that at the beginning. The reason why this is called beta and not the normal Adobe Express is because it's still a work in progress. So not everything always works super smoothly, but here it is. It just needed a little bit of a refresh to pick up this brand new library as I made it new. As you can see, it's loading and our graphic is there. So you learn and you got the gist right now. All I'm going to do is to go to my pages. I'm going to create, I'm going to duplicate the page. In this case, I'm just going to go back into this new page. I'm going to hit resize first. And then from resize, I'm going to make it into a Facebook post and I'm going to click on resize. I'm going to get rid of this element right now and perhaps of the text as well. And then, as I mentioned, you have three options. Either bring it in directly from maybe, make a big artboard, which is what we're going to see. I know that we have about 5 minutes left, so I will show you that other method as well, just to make a big artboard and then create different pages. But either you can copy and paste, or you can open the Illustrator file with all the elements and then distribute it into the different pages, or you can copy and paste them, or you can use the libraries. And let's go ahead and resize this first into a Facebook post. Let's go ahead and click on resize. And once this is resized, we will be able also, let's actually make it into a YouTube. So we change, there we go. We will be able here to access our libraries, and where it says your stuff, we can go ahead and we already have open our Illustrator 2023. Click on graphics, and once you click on your graphics, just in one click, it will be placed inside your page. Isn't that amazing? So I'm gonna call this one, I think that was our YouTube cover. Okay, so that's absolutely mind-blowing. And if you're wondering, is that only one document? Yes, all these pages are all part of one single document. You can imagine, you can do as many as you want. For example, I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate once more here, and then I'm going to access it. And then now that I've got that, other graphics that I might want to use, I'm just going to go ahead, click and drag to select all these graphics that I don't need, and I'm just going to go ahead back and add this new graphic that I've introduced into my library. So you see the flexibility of working with these amazing apps. Now, the difference of copy and pasting and then using the libraries or using the vector files are that if you're using the vector file directly, you will have access to each single element that makes your vector image. So everything will be distributed into layers, and that's the case for our first page. So you can see everything that comes for our first page. Even here, we can access each single element of this illustration, and we can also edit it and move it around if we wish to do so. If we copy and paste, everything is like an image. So the only thing that we can do is maybe hide the background, crop it, but there is not much that we can modify it. The other option, which was using the libraries, also gives us the opportunity to do something, which is edit things with the library. So now that I have my library open inside Illustrator, I can double click inside my file, which is an independent file inside Illustrator that is saved inside the library. And perhaps I want to change the color of the text just for the purpose. I'm just going to make it blue here, just to show you for the example here. And then once I click Control S and save it, you will see that this will also be updated inside my libraries. It may be taking a second to think right now, but what it's doing is just saving this artwork here. And as you can see, it's already been updated inside the library. What does it mean for our file here inside Adobe Express? It tells it that our linked assets have changed. So you have the option to leave it as it is, but if you click on update, we will be able to update our assets. And here it is, it's automatically changed. So those are the different possibilities available for you. You can open the file, you can copy and paste within Illustrator, or you can use the libraries that also give you the flexibility to keep editing in Illustrator, and then the file will be automatically edited. Let's see if it already updated. Yeah, it already updated in the other page as well. And if you're wondering, yeah, but what if I want to go back to the black? Well, again, you can simply here go back, make sure that you save. Probably Illustrator is going to have again a little bit of a think because I'm making him do a lot of things at the same time anyway. But then once your graphic is saved and is updated here, you will see inside the libraries panel, once you head back to your Adobe Express beta, same thing happening again. Your asset has been changed. You can see there the color has been changed. You select to update it and it will be updated back everywhere. Now, one more thing before we say goodbye. I wanted to show you how to open a file that has like a bigger version of elements, and then you can build all your campaign together. Before doing that, I just want to show you like the very last step here will be just simply to download all this file. So you can select a page or select all page, select the format, PNG or JPEG or PDF, and click on download. It will be downloaded and ready to be used everywhere you want. Let me show you how you can just simply use one file to then create a campaign, which is simply a different approach. I'm going to here head back to this Adobe Express, and I'm going to go ahead and use this other file that I had at the very beginning. And I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to click on create. It doesn't really matter the size. There are way too many artboards here, so I'm going to delete a few artboards. And I'm going to go ahead and rotate this artboard. I know we're running out of time. I'll have to be really, really quick here, but it's worth showing. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to bring all the elements together that I would like to use. And I'm going to go ahead and paste it inside this new document here. So I have all the elements that I think that I can use for my campaign. And I'm just going to go ahead simply and save my file. I'm going to call it version 2, just so we have an idea that that's a different version of the same file. And now once we go back inside our Adobe Express, we will be able from our stuff to go back. Oops, where it is. Let's go back to home. And then when you're going fast is always when you're going slower. So I'm going to go ahead and select the version 2. And as you can see here, is converting the file. Now, this is a file that contains all the different elements that I could use to recreate my campaign. And sometimes it might be better just to have just like this work in progress canvas. So then you can use the power in the editor of the different pages in order to create your campaign. So now we have here all editable. Each one of these elements is editable and is ready to go. The text, the vase, the heart. So you will be able to go ahead here and just like we've done before, create a page, select a page, resize it into what we want. So we're going to start with the Instagram story or whatever we prefer, resize it, and then start to delete the element that we do not want, and then just simply play and use the one that we want. But the goal and the bottom line is that we will be able to have access to every single shape and every single element directly from Illustrator. I really hope that you loved this stream. Don't forget to stay tuned and don't forget to subscribe here at Adobe Live. There is so much to learn and you will be able to sharpen your skills and learn your technique. I loved spending time with you. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube for Adobe Live, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Goodbye.